There's always a delay, man. What's going on, YouTube? Today is April 21st, 2025. Special guest. Y'all don't know him. I dropped his link in the chat. Go sub to his YouTube channel. I will make him a moderator so he can drop his Rumble link. Also, he's on both channels like me. His name is Tim. We've been talking on YouTube for a few years. What's up, my man? Thanks for coming in.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Old, but surviving. How are you?
Good. I just got done feeding all my livestock. It's the labor of love.
The labor of love. If you drop something in the comments, I'll make you a mod so you can drop your, in the chat. I'll make you a mod so you can drop your Rumble link. But your YouTube link is in the chat. I put that in there. It's also in the video. So neither one of us are financial advisors, but you should probably listen to both of us. We got OTG in the chat. He's a homie. We got Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker. We got American the Battle. Oh, let's make American the Battlefield blue. Give him a rent so he can drop a friggin' link.
Yeah.
Put user in timeout. We don't want to do that. We want to add as moderator. Boom. You are blue, so you can drop that link whenever you want. What's up, J-Lo?
This is fun.
Oh, dude, it's great. Is this your first live?
Yes.
Well, you're off to a good start. What's up, Mr. Stan? Jerry, hello, welcome in. Give us a background on yourself, if you would, Tim.
Wow, where do I begin? How far back do we go? I've been all over the country, all over the world. I was in the United States Marine Corps. They sent me to 19 countries to document humanitarian operations. And I gained a lot of perspective overseas. And I think I gained a new respect for what it means to be an American and to live in this country. Sorry about that phone call. Yeah, so...
The phone call? What?
I got a phone call. I didn't know if it came through on your end.
Oh, by the way, 365, welcome in. Just stack it. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, 365. Good to see you. He's one of our European stackers, man. He's over there across the pond. He's been a hell of a good friend to me. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue. Thank you, brother.
Oh, I don't like talking about myself that much. It's kind of weird, but well, I'm glad to be with you and you with your audience.
This is our first live date, man. So I'm gonna make you talk about you. Kind of like when you go out with a chick for dinner. You want her to talk about her. I mean, not that you're a chick, but Mr. West Texas, good buddy of mine. He also served in the Marine Corps. Y'all have that in common.
Semper Fi.
Do or die. So you've got livestock. What do you got going on there? I did not know that.
I've been a prepper for half of my life, and right when COVID-19 was announced, I was like, wow. I kind of saw the writing on the wall of where this was headed. So I built a chicken farm, and I've been chicken farming ever since. My laying hens have been really popular lately. So they help pay for all we sell all of our surplus of eggs to,
I'm laughing because eggs are like the price of gold, bro.
Seriously. It's a hot commodity. So all the surplus of eggs we have, we sell to neighbors, friends, family, coworkers, and it pays for way more than their feed. They're an asset.
Speaking of an asset, look at the AG in the chat. That's that guy. He's a homie. He's a big time troll, though. We love him. He's like, I had to guzzle a beer to get through my life with CS. That son of a bitch.
Hilarious.
Oh, dude, he's great. He's nuts. I love him.
It's fun to meet your audience.
Oh,
and,
dude,
I always watch all your videos and like them and share them with my buddies who are interested in that stuff.
Well, and just so everybody knows, I did get the StreamYard upgrade because Tim wanted to, which is you, wanted to do this dual stream at the same time on StreamYard. I'm like, all right, no problem. Well, it's a problem because I'm a stupid hillbilly and can't figure out how to do it, and Texas couldn't figure out how to do it. We tried last night, so I'm gonna download my own video and send him the link, so it will be on his channel. But I really wanted to do it live at the same time, man. I'm real sorry, but I'm limited. Yeah. And then hopefully you can teach me how to do the Zoom thing because I've never done that.
Hell yeah, it's just real easy. You can send the link to anyone and they can just join and they can come in from their phone, from their computer. And
okay, so you can use computer too? Cool. I like that.
Yep. You can record it, and you can share your screen, record the file, and then later on you can upload the file to all the video streaming platforms, YouTube, Rumble,
Right.
It's fun.
So you got livestock now. You got a garden too, which I used to have. That thing looks like it's thriving, dude, because I see it on Facebook. What's up, Vegas? I see that on Facebook a lot. How's that going?
Good. We grow a bunch of vegetables, puts food on the table. I built a new raised garden bed that's 18 feet long by 4 feet wide by 3 feet tall. I call it the USS Capability Brown. Little plan words.
You know what the worst thing is about eating a vegetable, though? I love vegetables, but the worst thing about eating a vegetable, do you know what that is?
What?
This is terrible. Hitting your head on the wheelchair. Oh, man.
Oh,
I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I know.
Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker said, Tim, interesting video on the season of sacrifice. That was my latest video that I put out there.
You've been putting in work, dude. You've actually been putting a lot of work into your content. I mean, and you're new at it, so it's impressive, dude. I gotta give you credit.
So I started blogging back in 2012, towards the end of Obama's first term, and that's where America the Battlefield comes in. It was a play on words from that old patriotic song, America the Beautiful. And I was toying with that title for a while because, in my opinion, America is the battlefield for the battle for freedom for the common man worldwide. And I believe it all starts right here, just like it did in 1776. That's kind of why I called my blog that. And then I went through, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I went through some domestic issues, and I had to focus entirely on lengthy legal battles. So I had to put all my work up on the shelf for a while. And now I'm back at it, putting the content out there, now in video form. And I think it's way more captivating that way for especially my audience, because you can play all the video clips to add context to your discussion and your argument, So yeah.
Oh, absolutely, and that's a great name, Rhonda. Wow, she is not. Nickel Stacking and I were talking about you the other night, Rhonda, on Facebook. He's like, I don't see Rhonda anymore, so good to see you. What's up, Kevin? That is
Lakeland, Florida. I used to live in Lakeland, Florida. Awesome. Kevin and I used to be neighbors.
I bet you'd rather live in Florida right now. I know I would.
Yeah,
because we're both in Oregon. I mean, I don't know if you all know that, and dude, it's a mess. The Second Amendment they're just assault. They got 2 House bills going right now trying to revive Measure 114. It's a nightmare, dude.
Measure 114. They keep.
We're going to lose. Yep.
I know. We're making our exit plan out of the state.
I think I don't have a choice either, man. For me, Idaho's the plan. I don't know what your plan is, but I can't do it much longer, man.
We're thinking of Texas. We have family there.
I got a buddy that lives in Odessa.
Okay.
He's in the chat, Mr. West Texas. he's over there in Odessa.
Leaving the state and moving to like Kentucky, Florida, other places like that, Arizona.
Imagine that. Isn't that weird?
By the way, how's my audio? Is it okay?
Oh, you're great. The other, and that's the thing. Honestly, Texas, and this pains me to say it because I don't like the left, but I got to give credit where it's due. Kotek has actually been a lot better than Brown, which I didn't expect. I mean, she doesn't like the tolls. Did you know that? She doesn't like the tolls. She actually came out against the corporate tax bond levy that was on the ballot in Oregon this last voting season. I couldn't believe it for a Democrat.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's setting me up to trust her more than Brown, which doesn't take a lot just to let me down. But so far, and she is a liberal Democrat with a short haircut. So, you know what I'm saying?
We have one of those automatic vacuum cleaners that goes around like R2D2. We call it Kate Brown.
That's funny. But I got to say, Kotex, I call her Kotex, has been better than Brown, Texas. And I thought she'd be worse. I mean, I'm not saying she's great, but she hasn't really assaulted my 2A. She doesn't like the bond levies. She doesn't like the tolls on the bridges. So that's way better than Brown, which fucking surprises me.
We're in the service industry, and Tina Kotek comes in with her staff frequently.
Oh God.
And
really?
They are terrible people. They treat us with absolute disrespect. We're thinking of like 86ing them out of the joint and never, like, so they can't ever come back. You know, they'd probably sue us though.
Oh,
they're just really bad people.
Well, they're Democrats, so that doesn't surprise me. But
yeah,
well, man,
I think
really
that term is overused. No offense.
No, it is.
The Democratic Party is not what it used to be.
No, it's not. They're
like Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk, whether or not you like them or don't like them, they said, we didn't leave the Democratic Party, it left us because it became so radical, like radical leftist, extremists.
Well, I call them libtards. I call them libtards. And to be yesterday's Democrat and associate yourself with today's libtardism, that makes you a libtard too, in my opinion. Like if I was a Democrat, and I thank my personal God that I am not, I think once I saw how far left they've gone, I think I would say I don't want nothing to do with y'all.
Yeah,
I'll be an independent or a conservative. It blows my mind that people can't understand how far that party's gone. But and I will say this, there's a cult following on the right now that I don't really agree with either. But I'm going to leave it there because that makes people's, they get anally afflicted when I say that. But
I'm really enjoying your audience's comments.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah. Can I read something to you for you and your audience?
Please.
I have an old dictionary, the American Heritage Dictionary, second college edition from 1982. And this was the definition of liberal. Can I read it? Here we go.
Dude, yeah, read it.
Having, expressing, or following views or policies that favor the freedom of individuals to act or express themselves in a manner of their own choosing, of relating to or characteristic of representational forms of government, tolerant of the ideas or behavior of others, broad-minded. That's how liberalism used to be defined.
I'm sorry. All I can do is laugh because that's
none
so
of
outdated.
it applies anymore. It's so outdated.
No, dude.
It's not only outdated, it's irrelevant to
they want to cut their peckers off, and if I don't call them a woman, they want to send me to the gulag. So, dude, it's anything but tolerant. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and they want me to pay for them to remove their peckers too, which I am fundamentally against.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh at that,
what
brother.
A disaster. Yeah. It is laughable.
It's just, oh man. So you and you asked me a question. You go, why have we not gone camping? It's funny, dude. I've actually been having dreams, about going camping and shooting and wheeling. I literally for like the last week, it's crazy. So we should at least go shooting or something at some point. You made a Facebook post about gold. You want to talk about the gold issue?
Yeah. Okay, so I posted this morning. Let me see if I can find it. It got a lot of hate from people. I don't really care. I get that a lot. So
I gave it some love. I
got my math wrong initially and then went back because I was just kind of off the top of my head. But I swear, where is this? Sorry, bear with me.
I do that a lot. I get my math wrong. I'm like, oh, I was wrong. But there was a lot of Dave Ramsey clowns in there. Oh, this and that. Dude.
S&P 500, the stock market. So basically what I said was...
And I'm both. But yeah, I mean, you can never go wrong adding gold, dude, ever.
No. 5 to 6% return on investment for the last 50 years or more. I may be, way more. Okay, so what I posted was if our baby boomer parents had invested $10,000 in gold in 1985, it would be worth $107,000 today, give or change. And people are just like laughing, like, yeah, but what about Nvidia stock or this and that, S&P 500? Or like 5 to 6% return on investment is laughable, bro. And all their laugh emojis.
Well, there's benefits to holding something outside the system. Number one, number two, I got a lot of stocks. I mean, dude, I've made a lot of friggin' money in the stock market, but I've also lost a lot of money, and I really haven't lost money on gold. I seem to gain. So
It's long term.
yeah,
Like,
and I mean,
even if our
don't
economic system crumbles and fades away into oblivion, gold will still have intrinsic wealth in and of
yeah,
itself. It has
yeah,
for 6,000 years.
and don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm all about making dude. I made 4,700% on vaccine stocks during the vid, and I didn't agree with them. I did.
Yeah.
I bought Novavax at $285 a share and sold it at $3.83 a share. I think $3.83 a share, and I sold it like $295 a share. But you know what I did with that money? I put it into
Put it into
gold.
precious metals. Yeah.
Weird.
See, that's just that. Some people may say, "Oh, well, you're lacking principle," but that's just being smart and playing the game. It's a game.
Initially morally, I had a problem with it, but I'm like, you know what? I can't change the idiots that are signing up to get jabbed. I might as well make money off of them because you know what? Their narrative put so many businesses under, so I might as well make money off them signing up for the gas chamber, so to speak, because that's what they did. They're stupid, so can't change it. Might as well profit. And I don't really feel bad about it anymore, to tell you the truth. But I did it first. But I never lied, man. I always came out and publicly said, don't take this. The government's going to make money and it's going to hurt you. I'm going to make money because you're not going to listen, but I'm going to tell you not to. And the things I got called, oh my God. So I don't care. I made
Every
money.
name under the sun.
Oh, dude, Pinocchio. This one chick who's probably dead now because she had every jab under the sun called me Pinocchio on Facebook, and I got put in Facebook jail, but I made all the money and she's got myocarditis. So who's laughing now?
Yeah. Pinocchio is a funny it's a funny metaphor that you bring up because Pinocchio, in my opinion, Pinocchio was a story about a dummy who grew up and learned to think for himself. And he had to go through trials and errors. And what did he do? He finally severed the puppet strings of his puppet master and became a real boy, a real person. I'm really glad you brought that up.
We're still waiting on her to do that because she has not learned. And most of them don't. And you know why? People don't want the truth. People don't want to. They don't want to find out, hey, I was wrong about something. People don't want the truth. They want to be told that what they believe is the truth.
Yes. It's like William Cooper used to say, the first half of the average person's life, they want to grow up and become responsible and sign contracts and get out there and take challenges. Then they realize how difficult it is. Then they spend the second half of their life trying to crawl back into surrogate wombs for protection from reality. And the Matrix dived into that deeply. Remember Cypher? He betrayed everyone who woke up. And he said, put me back in. I want to remember nothing. Make me someone important. And he sold them all out because he couldn't deal with reality.
That sounds about right.
So many metaphors.
It's just like I work with a lot of good people. I also work with some woke, college kids that, they hate capitalism, not understanding that the reason they have a job is because capitalism exists. Number one.
I think they hate crony capitalism, but they don't know the difference.
Well, and they also don't understand that if they capitalize on capitalism, they can benefit themselves. They don't get that. And it's kind of in the name, and it's funny because I will never forget one of the best emails I ever read. It was a story about a father of a college student. And she was super woke, and she goes to a university and she studies her ass off, dude. She doesn't party because she's got her eye on the prize, right?
Yeah.
And he says, well, hey, how's your friend so-and-so? And she goes, oh, Dad, she parties all the time. She's got a barely passing GPA. And he says, well, you're into socialism and liberalism. He says, why don't you take some of your grades and give them to her so she can up her GPA? And she says, no. I've done all the work and the sacrifice. And he says, well, daughter, welcome to capitalism and conservatism. I love that email. That's such a good story. And that was actually a true story from a buddy of mine.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Vladimir Lenin, the father of Soviet socialism, and he was the orchestrator of the Bolshevik reign of terror. He said democracy is indispensable to socialism. And all these people are like, these people are a threat to democracy. You know, like good. Let's
Yeah, good. We're a
threaten
republic.
democracy.
Let's keep it a republic. By the way,
Mhm. They've been
Oh,
convinced that this country was founded as a democratic republic. Those are two you, those are two like equal and opposing extremes. It
yeah,
only
that's an
exists in
oxymoron.
theory. Yeah, just
That's an
like Karl
oxymoron.
Marx's manifesto, his
I mean,
utopian vision, it can only exist in theory, not in practical application. We've seen what it produces. They just don't learn from history.
that's crazy. You got a Patreon, I see, huh? I've thought about starting one, dude. You're gonna have to talk to me about that, man, a little bit. You want to talk about that? I don't have
There's
one.
nothing there yet. I just started it just in case. Like, hey, buy me a beer, if you like my work. It takes a lot
Sure.
of time and effort. It's an investment, but it's like a labor of love. I get something out of it too. A lot of times I go back and I reread the stuff I wrote back in the day. Some of my opinions have changed slightly, but now there's even more added context based on the stuff I used to write about. So I'll like add new context based on my older work. And it's really fun to kind of, you know, rediscover, reimagine, revise it, update it. That's what I've been doing lately.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, OTG. I think Neil Han Dynasty is the cringiest word in the English language. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. He's a guy that he's got a lot of opinions. He's got all the answers and no assets, and he came clean recently that he's broke. So we all like to make fun of him, but I couldn't resist. I took a jab.
I'm always
My
telling
bad.
my audience that I accept all views, whether or not you agree with me or disagree. Let's have a dialogue.
Yep.
Let's get it all out there and try to meet in the middle. I think a lot of people like us agree on the big things, the important issues.
Oh, dude,
It's
you
like
and
the
I.
minutia we disagree on.
I make little digs at you about being a QAnon and all that. I do, but the reality is you and we're not that different.
Yeah, I agree.
I went down the rabbit hole on that in 2020 pretty deep. And I was like, all right, I need to pump the brakes a little bit. I'm going a little too far. So I've kind of come full circle a little bit, but we're not different. We just have, different methods of getting there, but our views are pretty much the same.
I agree. Yeah.
Yep. So, and most of the time I hammer your sack, I'm just giving you bad time. I hope you understand that.
Yeah, I know. But men should be hard on each other,
Yeah, dude. I mean, we haze each other.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Like if we're up shooting and you shoot yourself in the foot, I'm like, come on, numbnuts, walk it off. And I would expect the same from you, you know? Don't be a puss. Let's go. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
That's what men do. I never knew the HIV gives people delusions of grandeur. Oh, OTG. Oh, my dude.
He's got a lot of time in his hands, looks like.
Actually, he doesn't, dude. He does, but he makes time. So that guy, he's, and I spoke about this last night. He's got a plan. He's splitting. I'm not going to throw out his personal info, but him and I talk on IG a lot, and he's got a plan to split, X amount of this into that into about 3 different asset classes, and he busts his ass, dude. So he makes the time to come in and bust my sack, and I appreciate that. He likes to troll, but he's actually a good dude, and I would rather have him out there, on his grind, making dreams happen for himself than sitting in my stupid videos. So the fact that he makes time, I appreciate. But no, that guy, dude, he's on his grind. Texas, man, he's on his grind too. That dude, he's a full-time mechanic, and then he works at Pizza Hut at night to, supplement his stacking income. I mean, there's a lot of highly motivated folks here, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So you said you work in the service industry, huh?
I do.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Bartending mostly. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you pour heavy?
Slang in those cocktails.
Do you pour heavy?
No. It's done to spec, but it's
I ain't going to your bar. No, I would, just because it's you.
I know you would. You probably will soon.
It's
fun though. It's really fun. I love engaging with people, and they're in like a celebratory mood. I can make them have a great day, a good time. There's a lot in it for me too.
So
it's a fun job.
It's funny. I didn't know that you bartended a lot. I didn't know that at all. So we talked about this last night in the live I did with Texas, and
Mhm.
I have friends that work at a fairly busy bar, and they're clearing between $300 and $600 a night, depending on how busy it is, cash.
Yeah.
And they're always talking about, oh, the CEOs are evil. I said, why? I said, do you understand that with the money you make, you could have been done years ago if you invested properly. I said, you have this incredible opportunity, but you piss it away. Capitalism didn't fail you. You failed capitalism. I mean, who is better off?
It's a good point.
The engineer with $100,000 in student loan debt making 75 grand a year, or the bartender making 50, 75, 100 grand a year with no student loan debt? I'm serious. Who's better off?
Yeah, good point.
But people get caught up in the status, right? Like, I need to have this job that has the status, attached to it. I need to drive this car that has the status attached to it. That's not what people of wealth do.
I don't think that the collegiate degrees are a good investment anymore. Neither do a lot of people I associate with. Like, I got to get my degree, like this or that. I think tech schools and trade schools are the wave of the future. That's my opinion.
I share that opinion 100%.
Valuable trades that everybody needs. Electricians, mechanics,
I'm a drywaller by trade. I don't want to do it anymore, but it's something to fall back on. Mm-hmm. Texas, he can, I can fix a car. He can do it better because he's professional. I mean, those are the things that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, the brand new iPhone coming out doesn't matter like having my car fixed, having my walls put up, having my house wired, What's up, 210? And again, I'll say it again, you can go to a trade school or you can learn a trade without going to school and make damn good money and owe little to nothing, as opposed to having a job that pays you X amount with a whole bunch of student loan attached to it. You're going to pay for that prestigious, fucking title. It's very costly.
Ivy League schools.
Yeah, dude.
And you come out of there with like mountains of student loan debt.
Oh, it's amazing. And see, I speak from experience. I made that mistake. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm going to go to computer school, blah, blah, blah. I went to BCTI. Well, they shut down halfway throughout the courses, and I still owed the 10 grand I took out. Actually, it was 7. I was a loser at the time. I never paid it because I was mad about it. Didn't get in on the class action lawsuit because I was lazy. And that $7,000 ended up costing me $14,000. They took my tax returns for years. I didn't use the education I got. Hell, I can't even figure out how to dual stream on StreamYard. And I learned a very valuable lesson, but it was very, very costly.
Yeah. Well, those are the things that make us stronger,
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I've been poor. I've been, near homelessness. And it made me really, really value money and hard work. And I realized when I was extremely poor, it was because I was making the wrong choices. I've pretty much made every mistake you can make, except for, having kids with the wrong chick. Everything else that you can do in your life wrong, I've done. Yeah.
Okay. We've all been down that road.
Some of us a few times.
Winston Churchill said something once. He said, the farther backward we look, the more forward we can see. I think he was talking about the lessons of history and even our own personal experiences,
I agree. Just like Mark Twain, he said, it is easier to fool someone than to convince him that he has been fooled, which is also very, very true.
He also said a lie travels around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes.
Dude, that's so true.
Yeah.
Being a positive influence, and here's proof of that, being a positive influence in someone's life is 10 times less effective. It's more meaningful, but 10 times less effective than being a negative influence and making, paving the path to make bad choices. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree.
And that's why it's important to be honest, whether you're hated for it or not. That's why it's important to, we're all people, we're emotional beings, we're all POSs at times, but it's really important to try to be POS as least as possible, I think. And some people just don't care.
Wait, why don't you want to be a point of sale system?
Well, because I have one at work and it sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't want to suck any more than I already do.
Yeah. This is really
so
fun.
What are you growing in your garden, man?
Oh my gosh. Tomatoes, peppers, all kinds of lettuces, onions, and herbs for now. I'm about to put in some potatoes, and then we have our squash and zucchini bed that we're going to start growing in about a month per the growing season in my region. So yeah, there's always fresh vegetables available. And it's really therapeutic for me to like create something like to help life, come to fruition. It's so therapeutic.
About 5 years ago, I grew potatoes, which required almost no effort, actually.
Exactly.
Carrots, which are also pretty, low maintenance. I grew peas. I didn't do lettuce. I didn't have the space for it.
They need a little more space.
I think I did green beans, actually. And
potatoes are so hardy. It's like set it and forget it.
Yeah, but they make my ass jiggle because it's a lot of carbs. But they're delicious. But you know what's interesting? No matter what I did to my peas, man, it didn't matter how I seasoned them. They still just tasted like dirt. I must have been doing. They looked great, but I must have been doing something wrong when I grew peas, and it still drives me nuts.
There's always nutrients you can add to various fruits and vegetables that make them thrive. I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe it was
I did something wrong.
Does anyone else in your audience grow a garden or have like livestock animals? I also have rabbits, just in case like the shit hits the fan and like, oh my god, gotta have some meat on the table.
Dude, I'll tell you what, rabbit's good eating, man. It's so tender. You can make a stew out of it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I know High Plains. There's a guy named High Plains. He's got like a farm, and he grows a lot of stuff. Two Bros Stacking. They live on a farm. They don't talk about it a lot, but I'm interested to like pick their brain about it because I kind of miss gardening, dude. I mean, that kind of sounds hippie, but I do.
Yeah, I share my gardening experiences and like chicken farming with my friends and family so they can live vicariously. And like the people who buy our eggs, they're always interested. They're like, "Oh my gosh, look at your ladies."
So do your chickens have room to roam freely?
Oh yeah,
very important.
They're in a huge 50-foot run by like 5 foot wide, and then the coop is right in the middle, so they can go up under the coop inside the run. It's like completely predator proof. They can go up.
That's awesome.
During the hot sun and roost up under the coop, go inside. The coop itself is like 8 feet wide by 4 feet long by, 4 feet high.
Well, plus I know you're sitting out there with the AR waiting for the predator to come on your land 24/7. Come on now.
Yeah. They're in literally like the Taj Mahal of chicken coops. So,
and this is what a lot of people, probably the people here understand, but a lot of people overall don't understand that when it comes to chickens, there's two most important things in my opinion. They need to see the sunlight, and they need to have room to roam freely so they're not stressed out all the time, cooped up, because those hormones get passed on to the eggs and passed on to the meat that we eat, and people don't understand that.
There's a saying among chicken farmers, happy chickens lay happy eggs. And when they get to roam free and free range, like throughout the yard and get all the bugs and, little mites and ticks in the grass, they're so happy.
Totally.
I let them go out every couple days and sit out there with them. And my dogs, we have 3 Labradors. They're trained to watch over them now.
That's awesome.
I think they think it's entertaining. They're like, oh my gosh, look at those toys walking around. They just know they better not chew on them,
That sounds like a well-trained dog, dude. I love it.
Yeah. We have a black lab, a yellow lab, and a silver lab. It's like Neapolitan ice cream.
I forget the name of the dog you always post when you're like, show me your dogs. But, dude, he's awesome.
Bodie.
I was going to say, I think it's Bodie. Yeah, okay, I thought it was Bodie, but...
Patrick Swayze from Point Break.
Yep.
He's a rebel.
My name's Johnny Utah. Who cares? Oh, dude, there's a guy at work. He'll be like, Utah, get me 2. I mean, we do we do the Point Break lines all the time. That's so funny, dude. And I always wondered if that's why you called him Bodie. That's great.
Also because he loves the water, and Bodie was the surfer guy. I
was gonna say, does he surf or what, bro? Does this guy dive too?
We spent we spent so many days at the beach with him where he will literally run and fetch a frisbee or a ball for hours and hours and hours. And he's like covered in sand, like swallowing sand, pooping out kinetic sand later. He just loves it. He's a water
That's
dog.
awesome. That's
So
awesome.
the name fits.
Texas, to answer your question, I used to fish. I used to love it. I have not fished in years because I don't like the way they taste. I like tuna fish, and that's it. It's weird. I take a lot of omega-3 supplements because I know I need them. I like tuna. I do not like fish. I like to fish, but I haven't in years. And I've never gone hunting, honestly, because all my buddies that were hunters never have time. I would love to go hunting, but I've actually, for a hillbilly, I've never hunted, and that's kind of pathetic. To answer your question, I'm being honest.
I'm not much of a hunter either, but big time into tactical training. I don't think it ever left me from the Marine Corps, you know.
But I think hunting would be a valuable skill for me to learn in case I ever need to. And I can tell you all my hunting knowledge is in theory, watching videos, reading books, but it's never been applied, so I don't count that. So I would love to actually put that to the test. So if anyone wants to come out here and go hunting, say the word.
Skin a buck and run a trout line.
Yeah.
Williams Jr.
Yes, sir.
I think
what's up, Brian? Brian's a cool dude, man. We've had lunch a couple times. He's local also. He's in Oregon. What's up, buddy? I hope you had a good Easter. Cool. Brian's a cool dude, man. Real smart guy. Maybe all right, Brian. Maybe you could take my fat ass hunting.
I have a date scheduled with two buddies right around Memorial Day weekend. We're going up to Badger Creek, and we're going on a 3-day wilderness camping trip. And it's in bear country and cougar country. So we've tried to train our best, and we each have our bear gun that we're bringing. We're going to backpack for about 23 miles. So I'm really looking forward to that, getting out in nature again.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you fear more, bear or cat?
Well, cougars are ambush predators. They'll wait, they'll crouch down kind of beneath something. And then if you go down to the water or something by yourself, that's when they try to get you. I've tried to read up on this, and I called the ranger station. We had a long talk about it. I took a lot of notes.
That's what
I really don't know
about cats. That's what scares me about cats too. Is you usually won't know they're there until they're around you. A bear, they're fat, sloppy, and smelly. You're going to hear it coming.
Yeah.
And if
you're don't know,
and you're not armed, then you're kind of an idiot, So you should be prepared for the bear. But dude,
I'll be taking my Judge on a chest rig and
Taurus Judge,
45 long Colt.
The Taurus Judge.
Another buddy's bringing a 10 millimeter.
Wait a minute, you're not going to load it with the 410 for bear? Come on now, I'm kidding. I'd do the 45 Colt too, man.
There's snakes up there, yeah. And then my other friend.
Well, let's see. Is that a 5 or 6 round? I can't remember. Or is it a 4?
I believe it's 6. Yeah.
So maybe alternate it. One for bear, one for snake, or 2 for bear, and then 1 for snake.
On my chest rig, I have an ammo pouch with 7 rounds of each, so it's pretty easy to get to. I've tried to train reloading. I just hope I don't crack under a stress scenario.
You're a Marine. I don't think you will.
But there's always that what if, like bears.
You're a Marine. You're a machine, dude. There's no what if, man. You're a trained killer.
Mean Green Gyrene.
I mean, didn't you ever watch Full Metal Jacket? You little scumbag! Yeah. Jesus H. Christ! Come on, dude. Don't let Robert down. Doc, dude, the gold price today, dude, and that's what we were talking about earlier, man. Before you came in here, I started pushing gold last summer when I was working in Salem, which is a shithole, by the way.
It is.
Oh, dude, Jesus.
A lot of homeless people.
Oh, my God, dude. I was tossing people all the time, and, oh, Jesus. I'm like, I just want to run a restaurant. Leave me alone. It's gotten better, but fuck. Because we hired a security guy for the mall. Mm-hmm. But
and all the hardware stores and farm stores, homeless people literally walk in the back loading dock area and grab, like, DeWalt chainsaws and generators and just walk out the front door. And they're instructed to not do anything about it. So they have all these write-offs of stolen materials.
Yeah, it's great. Welcome to liberal Oregon.
And then they go cop it for drug money or something.
Funny how
Brian says 4570 government for bear.
4570 get it done. But I'll tell you what. You put me in Alaska with my AR with the 20-round mag, I ain't worried either. I mean,
Yeah,
that you know what I'm saying? So,
especially with those green tip penetrators.
oh yeah, the steel cores. The gold price today, Doc. When I was working down in Salem last summer, I started pushing gold when it was like $2,000. I think it was $2,200 an ounce, and people called me nuts. What is it today? 34 and change. I mean, dude, gold. You know, silver's going to go up. Don't get me wrong; it's going to go up. You know, slower. It's going to go up then down. But gold, dude, gold is just phenomenal, and I don't really like it the way it looks for the most part. Some of it's pretty, but gold has just blown my skirt up, man. It's been phenomenal.
Same here. I bought 2 gold Britannias almost a year ago now. It was the last 500 of Queen Elizabeth.
Okay.
And the first 500 of King Charles gold Britannias. And now the value of them has gone up. Like the numismatic value on them, I think, is like 3,600 a piece now.
Well, I'll tell you. So I don't know how long you've been buying metal. I've been stacking since about 2008, 2009. And so I've been doing this a long time. And I made the mistake. I don't have a regret of stacking a bunch of silver. Okay, I don't.
No.
However, that comes with a caveat. The regret that I have is what was gold back then, like $1,100-$1,200, something like that.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Yeah,
I have the regret that I thought I was too poor to stack gold, and stacked only silver for many years, because now I realize that I was too poor to not, I was too poor to afford to not stack more gold. And the way that gold has been performing, I think it's going to continue on an upward trajectory. I mean, look at all the market uncertainty. Look at all the wars and the conflicts in the world. The writing's on the wall. Silver's going to go up, but gold's going to go up more, in my opinion. and
silver always rides the coattails of gold.
It does, yeah. But I can't afford not to stack gold at $3,300 an ounce. I'm sorry.
Well,
so
Brian says
I need more gold
was $300 and silver was $4 an ounce. Wow,
that's insane.
And silver is a lot heavier. You have to have a lot more of it to.
And that's where you win with silver. If you have I've always said, if you have enough silver, you're going to be fine. But if you don't have I've got thousands of ounces. I don't know how many. I don't have a whole lot of gold, unfortunately. I'm trying to correct that. So I'm going to be okay. But if you don't have a lot of silver, I mean, a 50 cent an ounce move is not going to equate to much unless you have a ton. So. And again,
I have something for your audience.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, and again, it only matters when that time to sell comes. I mean, at that point is when the price matters. But what do you got?
Guess how many ounces of silver are in each Tomahawk missile?
They say 500.
Yeah. Guess how many per Patriot missile?
No idea.
2,000 ounces. Last I checked. Imagine 2,000 ounces of silver just going away, exploding into nothing.
And that's a waste, but it is a lot more abundant than a lot of people like to say. There will come a time where it won't be, because, and this is what people don't understand about gold. Gold, in a way, is a replenishable resource where silver is not as much. I mean, the silver we have is pretty much the silver we have, unless something happens, in space. And same with gold. But every year when the snowpack melts off the mountain, we get more gold. That's not so true of silver. So eventually there might be a silver shortage, but they all preach it now. And right now there's not. I mean, so
did you know that the spot price of silver and gold does not reflect the usages of them in the military industrial complex? And if it did,
and it should. If it did, silver would be worth more than gold.
It would be way higher than it is now.
Look, gold is not a very useful metal. It's really not. Silver is an extremely useful metal. Why gold is valued higher than silver is beyond me, because silver is a better metal, but it's the way it's always been for the most part, and it's probably going to continue. So I must have gold.
And you have all these nations like India and China who are buying up as much silver as they can get their hands on for solar-powered technology. And batteries and stuff like that, transistors. which is pushing the price up too. Supply and demand issues.
Yep.
Brian's on point today. I like his comments.
Oh, dude, he's smart.
Yeah.
You really can't go wrong with either metal. But I think, despite the fact that I really don't care for gold, but I do have a higher outlook for gold. But again, if you hold a lot of silver, you're going to be just fine. So
sometimes I like to remind people,
stack the hell out of both of them. That's my advice.
I like to remind people, whether or not you're Christian or not, the 3 gifts that the wise men gave to Mary and Joseph for their trip to Egypt, because they had to flee Bethlehem, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Because the king was putting to death all the newborn male babies, to try and kind of thwart the plan of bringing, the Messiah. The 3 gifts that they gave Mary and Joseph were gold, frankincense, and myrrh, which were at that time the most valuable substance on earth for different reasons. With the gold, they could bribe their way through checkpoints, corrupt soldiers. That, in my opinion, that's kind of what the gold was for.
Sure.
To pay their way and bribe their way to Egypt.
And Brian said it in the chat right when you said it too. That again, he
oh wow, yeah.
He's on fire, dude. You're right.
And the frankincense and myrrh were used in holistic homeopathic healing remedies and like spiritual rituals and stuff like that. Especially the myrrh.
And here's something people don't realize about gold. Gold is far more abundant than people think. If you have running water, somewhere in that running water, you're going to find gold. It's just a matter of where. So it's a matter of going out and getting it. But once the world catches on to the fact that gold is everywhere and silver's 6 times less likely to be above ground than gold, it might make a difference. But people don't get that. People don't get that. Dude, if there's running water, I got a buddy. He lived at the top of the hill in West Lynn, the top of the hill. He goes, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to go to the creek and go pan. Calls me up 2 hours later. He goes, you ain't going to believe this. I said, you found gold, didn't you? He goes, yeah. It's everywhere in running water.
Wow.
Oh, cool. I mean, a couple, like 4 or 5, grains, but
yeah, still.
But the fact is gold is, if there's running water, there's gold somewhere in that body of water, scattered in many different spots. You just got to find it.
Yeah, that's true.
And people don't realize that gold is way more abundant than people think, but because people don't realize that, it's expensive.
I have a buddy, Jonathan, in Oregon, who has done some gold panning, found a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I did some gold panning up on the Malala, my buddy's claim, and it was such ball busting work, dude. That's actually what got me to start buying gold. I'm like, you know what? I don't mind working, but we ran the sluice box for 8 hours. We found very little. I'm buying the shit. That's what got me into buying it, dude.
Hilarious.
And what interests me more now is I got a buddy who, same buddy that actually did some panning in West Lynn, thinking I was wrong and found out I was right. He stands to inherit a hard rock mine from his grandpa, who's just too old to mine it anymore. And it's in Eastern Oregon. And he told me, he's like, dude, we grew up as childhood friends. I've known you for, 30 plus years. He goes, you want to help me mine it? I'm like, yep. He goes, we'll split it 50-50. I said, no, it's your mine, dude. It's going to be your mine. He goes, I don't care. He goes, I can trust you. So I'm more interested in finding that hard rock vein because, dude, placer mining is a lot of work. Unless I'm dredging, which I've never done, I just want to go to the source, man, the hard rock. What's up, Eric? It's just
interesting.
Placer mining, dude. Placer mining's ball busting labor. It really is. And so is hard rock. But once you find that vein, at least you know you're there. Where placer mining, you can do a test pan. You can find black sand. You can find that quartz vein. You can do a test pan and then find nothing else the rest of the day. That's happened to me, and it sucks. It sucks.
You and I had a conversation recently where it was tax season coming up on April 15th. And you said you might want to address the subject of the income tax in this discussion.
Okay.
I did a video recently called Income Tax, the Law That Never Was. And in that video, I proved definitively that the income tax and the 16th Amendment were never lawfully ratified by a majority of the states. And that they have convinced us that our wages are income. And I read the definitions of law about what wages and income are, and they're distinctly different. And they just love the fact that most Americans are ignorant and they just voluntarily file and pay income tax.
Oh God, dude.
And I played all the quotes from IRS officials stating in court to the Supreme Court that paying income tax is 100% voluntary.
And we can take, and that's actually true. We can even take it back further, and I think it's Article 18. I'm not sure. Don't hammer my nuts about that, guys. What did the Constitution say was the only form of legal money that we ratified? Anybody know? Anybody
Gold and silver.
Weird. They knew then. They knew then that income tax shouldn't be a thing. They knew then that the 2A should never be molested. And Republicans have molested it just as much as the libtards. I mean, look at Reagan. I love him. He gave us the NFA of 1986. Look at Trump. Kind of like him. He banned my bump stock. That was 10 years in prison. He supported red flag laws. So they knew then. They knew then. Gold and silver should be money. Leave the guns alone. Income tax shouldn't be a thing. How they knew back then, I don't know. But they knew. And it's amazing when you guys think about it. How did they know?
Good question. Yeah, so I'm going to share a link to this for your audience.
They knew. Oh, please do. And I hope you guys check it out because I've watched a portion of that video. I need to finish it, but it was very, very good.
It was fun to edit that one.
I don't know how to edit. I've had a few videos edited. Thank God I have a couple friends that are savvy because I'm not. You got an intro. I don't even know how to do that. By the way, your intro is badass.
Thanks. I change it up once in a while to make it new and different. And I love, one of my favorite things about making videos is choosing the right bumper music that has the lyrics and the message that add context to my topic. I freaking love it.
Oh, dude, totally.
And it's creative. I'm an artist, you know. I was a fine illustrator, graphic designer, photographer. So it feels creative to me. See,
the only art I've ever been good at, and the only creativity I've ever had is I'm a damn fine drywaller. I draw stick figures, but if I kick a hole in your wall in an hour, you're not going to, well, of course, other than it being painted, but in an hour, you're not going to see anything on the ground and you're not going to see a hole in your wall and it's going to be textured. You're never going to know I was there. That's my form of art. And people have been like, oh, you create content. I don't create content. I make videos. People watch them. I create nothing. So right. I don't
Everyone has their, mode of modus operandi.
But it would be cool if I had that artistic ability to create videos with editing and, intros and music. But
it's not for everybody. It's a little time consuming, but
I'm a hick with all my teeth and quite a few bucks. So that's all I am.
Brian says, and he has a face for radio. That's hilarious.
He ain't lying. He's seen it. I'm fugly. In fact, the first time he came in for lunch, he's like, "Oh Lord, I don't know if I can do this."
You should cover your face with one of those non-medical grade masks. Just kidding. And then
it's funny. Back during the vid, listen, I like to breathe free air. I had to wear the blue ones to go to work, and I said I ain't wearing this no more. So I got the black paper ones, and I discovered very quickly you can not only poke a bunch of like tack holes in there with like a thumbtack and breathe. You can cut slits in the black ones and no one could see. It was great. I mean, it was unfortunate, but I like air.
I'm not sure about the numbers, but the microns that the supposed COVID virus can pass through is like a hot dog going through a train tunnel with those non-medical grade masks.
Now you're talking about my ex-old lady.
I never submitted to any of those. The lockdowns, the mandates, the mask wearing. I got kicked out of a lot of establishments. I don't care.
Put a mask on and fart. Do you smell the fart? Yes, you do. They don't work. It's that simple, dude.
For me, the mask was an outward expression of an inward surrender to arbitrary authority. You can look around and see the shit they expose themselves. No offense to anyone in your audience who was forced to do that to keep their jobs or to go to restaurants.
And the government actually got smart about it, which was scary. Okay, so before it was mandated, you could always tell the COVID Karen because they had a mask on. You're like, all right, I got to make sure to wash my hands before I touch her food because she's one of those. Okay.
And now it's the purple hair that gives them away.
Well, but you knew who your enemy was because they had that face diaper on, right? And then the government said, okay, everyone has to wear them. So you didn't know who was a nut job and who just wanted to get something to eat and had to comply even though they didn't want to. You couldn't tell you couldn't tell your enemy. And then the government said, okay, if you take the shot, you can take the mask off.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, I know my enemy again. And then they said, well, even if you took the shot, you still got to wear a mask. So we were back to who's the Karen and who's not. Like, dude, it was a total
ratcheting up
psyop,
the pressure little by little by little. It's like
it
the
was
frog
a total
in the boiling
psyop.
pot. Yeah.
Yeah. You couldn't tell I call COVID. I call the people who feared COVID. I call them C-tards. Feel free to steal that reference. Y'all. I created it. Well, they're C-tards.
Yeah,
they are. And then my buddy talked about the vaccine cards. He's like, hey, these are tard cards. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? So
the flotsam and jetsam of history.
You couldn't tell the C-tards from the normal people. The government did a very good job at confusing all of us from being able to see the enemy. And it's kind of like, in the Middle East when jihad would wear friggin' civilian clothes and we couldn't tell the difference, then they'd blast us. I mean, if you can't tell your enemy, dude, that's warfare.
Mm-hmm.
This video is getting demonetized, whatever.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't care. But I realized that one day. I'm like, God, I don't know who the C-tards are and who the C-tards aren't. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to look something up, but my browser's acting up. There was something. Oh, in Thomas Paine's The Crisis. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, I'm having technical problems. Of course I am.
It's not you. It's Google.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, God, not these two guys.
Oh, that sucks. I'm going to have to try something else. I do want to read something to your audience, too, from the Coinage Act of 1792.
Well, it's your audience, too, just so you know, because type of one if y'all like Tim. I like Tim. Type of one. So, I mean, I think it's your audience, too, buddy.
I like your audience. They're pretty cool. They're adding a lot of context in the comments. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, it was Samuel Adams. If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsel nor your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you are our countrymen. To me, that's how all those people, they fit into that category. Sunshine patriots,
It's very profound.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, cool.
Can
I read something?
You can, but type a 2 if you like Tim better than me. Watch all these assholes. They're going to put a 2.
I just sent a 3.
Read something.
Joseph beat me to it. All right, so this is from the Coinage Act of 1792.
Hell, you know what? I'm typing a 3. All right, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier that our nation was founded on the gold standard and that our unit of measure used to be backed by gold before the Federal Reserve took it over in 1913, the private corporation that was not federal and had no reserves. In the Coinage Act of 1792, the Congress fixed the U.S. dollar as a specific weight of silver in the form of a coin, and fixed the value of gold coin in relation to a dollar unit of silver. So they are joined at the hip, so to speak.
Oh yeah, and I forget the actual number, but at one time the dollar was defined by a certain number of grains of silver.
Mm-hmm. I have that in here.
I forget the grain amount.
Gold or silver, then there is lawfully no dollar.
Rhonda, it's so good to see you. Me and Nickel were talking about you. Go show Nickel some love, by the way. He misses you. Yeah, it's 100% true. It's crazy.
Well, the YouTube just crashed on me. Strange. I'm going to see if I can get it back in there. Okay, there it is. Cool. Yep. So Black's Law Dictionary defines a dollar as, quote, the unit employed in the United States in calculating money values. It is coined both in gold and silver and is the value of 100 cents, unquote. That's the Black's Law Dictionary definition of dollar. Keyword
But
coin.
governments don't like it because it limits their ability to spend, which is what government loves.
Exactly. Like writing blank checks backed by nothing.
Oh, dude, yeah. This is what people don't get. The Federal Reserve writes a blank check, and then the banks go buy that debt, even though there's no money in the Federal Reserve's account. Like there's none. There's no money. And the banks buy this and compete and sell us the debt. And people don't understand that. It's disgusting.
36 trillion and counting, last I checked.
If the debt stops tomorrow, our dollar fails. Our dollar is dependent on new debt all the time. And I actually have a QAnon theory for you. I believe this. And 2020, sure, I think that the vid was an attempt to, how do I say this? We're on Google, we're not on Rumble. An attempt to manipulate the election numbers, okay? But I think it was something else. Obviously, it was a beta test to see how stupid we are, and we all failed as
Just
a whole.
To clarify, QAnon was the term made up by the mainstream media to try and demonize.
I know, but it's funny.
Yeah, there are Anons researchers who research the content put out by Q, the Storm. I think it's at ugg.news if anyone wants to go read the Q drops. And that was their way of trying to demonize the movement. And there is no more censored platform on earth than that website. You're not allowed to post any links to it to social media, especially Facebook and YouTube. They always flag it and take it down immediately.
Fucking OTG. He's Q. Anyway. Trump 2016, 100% in my opinion, was better than Trump now. But Trump 2016, he was not adding to the debt. He really wasn't. Because we are a debt-based society and we need debt for the dollar to survive, I believe another motivation for them to create that whole made-up vid thing, did it exist? Yes. Was it serious? No. Was to add debt to the dollar with the printing. And people have told me, they said, well, why would the rest of the world go along with it? Well, dummy, we're the world reserve currency. So if they didn't go along with it, what's up, Mike? If they didn't go along with it and our dollar failed, they'd be in trouble too. I think that there was something behind that, and no one ever talks about that.
Have you ever noticed how the strength of the U.S. dollar index is always inversely proportionate to the performance of gold and silver?
Oh, I've noticed that for years. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
Weird.
All right, let me continue real quick in this from the Coinage Act. A unit of measurement cannot replace or become the thing for which it is the measure of. However, in the collective mind of the public, this is exactly what has happened to the dollar. The American people have been deceptively led to believe that a dollar is both money and a measure of money, which the Federal Reserve unconstitutionally replaced the Treasury of the United States. And now it says backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, not by silver and gold, which is lawful money. So they took the original contract away. They severed it from being backed by gold and silver. And they still call it a dollar, and it's not. A dollar was a unit of measure for gold and silver. It always was. So it's a lie on its face. And the
Silver and cigars, what's up, brother? Veritas, I agree with you. I think he was more naive when it came to government. Yeah. But I think he was sharper because he was younger. I mean, we all get old, dude. And we all, see things differently as we get old.
Mm-hmm. So what I just described, George Orwell in 1984 called that doublethink. It's where the mind is infiltrated with conflicting concepts and left unaware of the difference between them. You've read that book, right? 1984? Or like seen maybe
I've read parts of it, but I'm going to be honest with you. About 5 years ago, I meant to get a copy and I didn't because I need to read the thing cover to cover.
I have a really old copy, but yeah.
Let me ask you a question that we've never talked about this whatsoever. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't see this as a monetary metal because it's never been used as one, in any major way, although it fits all the qualifications. What do you think about platinum?
I don't have any platinum. I do have investor buddies who are big into precious metals who have some platinum. I just don't know enough about it to answer that question
I have some
intellectually.
And I'll tell you, in my experience, my biggest thing with platinum was liquidity. Who's going to buy it? And I found that about half the LCSs I deal with will buy it, half of them don't. But I think it fits everything for a monetary metal. I'm not as bullish on it as I was 6 months ago, but I think 3 to 5 ounces in my stack is my target. And I don't have 5 ounces. I don't even have 3. But
is it bad to have some? No, never. It's like any precious metal. It has intrinsic wealth. So no, it can never be bad unless you're the Fed, you know.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Texas asked me last night. He goes, "Do you have a target for precious metals or stocks?" And my answer is no. Assets and money. I want as much as I can get. Like, so you're never going to go wrong having precious metals in your stack, period, in my opinion. And that's why I buy at all prices. I don't.
It's always been a hedge.
I don't play the GSR. I don't play the. Let me wait till the end of the day, see if it goes down. If I can afford it, I'm buying it. It's that simple.
What are they? They are a hedge against the inflation of a fiat system.
Yeah, you know? They're insurance. I mean, they're. I mean, you know, I've long said this, and a lot of people get pissed at me for this, but if you can make a lot of money in paper markets, see, you don't make your wealth in metals. Although with gold, that's starting to kind of change. You don't get rich by saving in metals. You get rich in paper markets and real estate, and you store your wealth in metals. Now, again, gold is kind of changing that narrative a little bit because it's blowing my friggin' skirt up, but I really believe that. So I will play paper markets to take a currency profit and put as much of it as I can into precious metals. And I think that's a good strategy.
Yeah, that's just playing the game for your advantage.
Yep.
I developed a love for silver when I was just a kid. My dad and my uncle would give me, you know, Walking Liberty 1 ounce silver rounds as like a gift every Christmas and for my birthdays. And I just kept them. I was like, oh, these are awesome. I really respected the relief and the classical motifs.
Veritas,
being an artist, and I just kept them. I never sold them or got rid of them. What's that? Oh, cool. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I was saying Veritas brings up some good comments. And then Cigars says screw platinum. He asked me the other day, goes, why didn't you tell me to buy more gold at this price? I'm like, I did. I'm telling you about it now. And he also says, fuck gold. So I love cigars, but he's a silver only guy.
You're always damned if you do, damned if you don't. And so, yeah,
I developed again, if you have a warehouse full of silver, you can't lose.
No. Well, I mean, you have to guard it and protect it from people who want to steal it. But, you know.
Oh, dude, Cigars has 2 vicious freaking labs. You should see these things, dude. They're gnarly.
Vicious labs? Okay. Dude, that's kind of an oxymoron, but
dude, he's got 2 labs I really want to play with, man. Gunner and Archie. They're awesome though. That's
a cool name, Gunner.
Oh, like dude, they're cool. And Archie's the young one. And he's always fucking with Gunner, and Gunner's like, dude, I'm old. Leave me alone. Because Archie's the pup.
So I had a.
Oh yeah, they're Goldens. Yeah. They are Goldens. My bad. They're Golden Retrievers.
Okay. So yeah, I developed a love of silver as a kid, and I never stopped. And I've always just added to my stack ever since I was a kid. I have to thank my dad and uncle for starting me out on that process. And yeah, that's where I started loving it. And
I think it's the same. I think it's the same for me. What's up, Gold Sniping? My old man used to take me to Columbia Coin and Currency down in Portland years ago.
That's cool.
And I think he was never a stacker like I am. I mean, dude, I got thousands of ounces of silver. I don't know how many. I ain't got much gold. I'm working on it. But I think that's where it started. He was never a stacker like me. He was some metals. He was a friggin' mutual fund guy. I mean, the guy never made over $25 an hour as a business owner his whole life, but he owned a house. He owned 2 houses. He paid off. He made $90,000 in Vanguard Health Fund 1 year alone. I mean, that's pretty damn good. But he did hold some metals, and I think that's where I learned the value of metals, because I had a problem where I pissed away every dollar in my pocket when I was 28. I was born in 1980, so in 2008 I was 28.
Okay.
And then I bought silver, and I bought it thinking it would make me rich because I was an idiot. But I reverted back to that, and it saved my life because I knew. And then back then I smoked cigarettes. I don't smoke anymore. I vape.
Good for you.
And Oh, dude, I quit like 6 years ago. Best thing I ever did besides never getting married and having kids. For me, because I always picked the wrong chicks. But anyway, I held it in my
Knowing
hand.
is half the battle.
Oh, dude.
G.I.
Joe. Yeah, totally. But I held the silver in my hand. And I used Atmex then because I didn't know better. And I knew I wasn't going to trade that like I was the $5 bill in my pocket for a pack of cigarettes and a 40-ounce of Bush at the convenience store. And that's all I knew. And it just really took off from there. So silver really saved my financial life.
Awesome. So it was kind of training you to save it and store it in a method which you wouldn't just blow it on impulse.
Yeah.
That's
because
good.
I mean, you see this $20 bill right here that I'm pointing to? Right? Yeah. There's actually like 6 of them there, I think, but whatever. And you see this ounce of silver?
Yeah.
What do you want to get rid of more than the other? I mean, what is more important for you to keep? The silver.
Exactly.
What do you value more? It's the metal.
Have you ever seen that Mark Dice video from years ago where he did his man on the street videos back then? And he took a 1 ounce gold.
Was it the chocolate bar?
Yeah, the Hershey bar.
Yeah,
the majority
dude. Yeah.
of the people given the choice chose
They're
the
so
Hershey
stupid.
bar.
They're so fat and stupid.
Granted, he's in Southern California, but still, it always amazed me. They'd rather have a $2 Hershey bar
because they don't fucking know. Like that's how far our monetary system has fallen, and how much our gluttony has taken over. And if you think about it, I even talked to guys that are 70, 75 that were around when our money had silver in it. They don't even remember. I mean, they remember, but they don't really remember. They don't realize the inflationary, measures that have happened. And oddly enough, and I've looked into this, the year we took silver out of our money, inflation went up for like 3 or 4 years after that, which is crazy to me. And of course, it corrected. It blows me away. It's a fact. Play with the U.S. inflation calculator. I got it in my links to some videos, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I think they did that by design to convince people that we didn't need metals in our money. Yeah, and that's my Q theory. I don't know, but it's amazing to me that old people that were around and teenagers when money had when our money had silver in it, still don't make the connection today because they're so indoctrinated with what they're used to that clad is money, and clad is not money. Clad is currency.
I found that Mark Dice video. I'm going to drop it in the comments if people haven't seen it. It's actually a 100-ounce bar of silver or a free Hershey bar. Hilarious.
I'm not gay, bro, but an 100-ounce bar is a 100-ounce bar, so I might do some things. I'm just kidding. But dude, a 100-ounce bar or chocolate bar? Oh my god.
He's redone that a couple of times. One time it was like a gold maple leaf, but yeah. Can I read a couple more definitions from Black's Law about our currency and the terms they use?
You can, but do me a favor.
Yeah.
Stop asking me if you can do this, and stop saying it's my audience, because you can do anything you want. It's our stream and it's our audience, so let her rip, brother.
I think that's the empath in me coming out. I just didn't want to talk over you or not let you finish a train of thought. All right, check this out. So money is defined legally as what is coined or stamped by public authority and has its determinate value fixed by governments. In the legislative powers of the government of the United States, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution grants that, and I quote, "The Congress shall have power to coin money, to regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures," unquote. Likewise, Article 1, Section 10 denies to these states the following, quote, "No state shall emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts," unquote.
Very profound.
So by definition, they're acting outside of constitutional law. And
100%. And there's no accountability.
Do you know what the punishment is for debasing the coin of the realm according to our Coinage Act?
No, but I know what it is in reality.
The punishment was death, and that's never been repealed.
In reality, you know what it is, though? Which is sad. It's bigger portfolios for them.
Yeah.
Cigars, you're right, but that's only because I'm a tard and OTG/AG. fuck you for calling me a tard. Not because you called me a tard, but because you called me a tard before I was going to call myself a tard. You beat me to it.
I like what AG said. Idiocracy is a documentary. Mike Judge directed that. The guy who did Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
I think Mike Judge. He said the movie was fun to make at the time, but later on he lamented that it had become a documentary.
Dude, it's true. I mean,
yeah.
I remember like 2010, I had a boss and she's like, she goes, you work your life away, but you're saving your money. She goes, you're smart. She goes, you don't have kids, because she had a couple kids and she loved them, but she goes, if I could be you, I would. She goes, because I'm I'm a smart person that has kids. I'm responsible. She goes, but most of the people that shouldn't have kids are reproducing at a rate they shouldn't. And dude, she's not wrong, because they get paid to now. From us.
Like the beginning of that movie, the dumb hillbilly redneck was fathering all these children, and then the young liberal, Ivy League couple were like, oh, well, we're gonna wait until my career is up and running, and they never had kids, and by then she became barren.
Oh yeah, totally. We got J-Lo cracking a joke. We got Texas cracking a joke too. Fuck goldbacks. I'm not stacking gold at $6,600 an ounce. That's just retardation at its finest. I don't care what all the big channels say. I ain't doing it. A couple here and there is cool. And Texas knows that. That's why he said that. It's funny because there's a lot of big channels pushing gold backs because they're getting kickbacks. Oh, the secondary market. The secondary market, if I'm dumb enough to pay 6 times as much for gold or 3 times as much for gold, you're telling me there's someone else dumber to pay 6 times as much for gold? I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but ain't doing it. So
one of the best pieces of advice I got years ago from a buddy who was way smarter than me. He said, buy gold and silver when they're high, buy when they're low, and never sell. It's not an investment. It's a hedge against inflation.
And that is why I buy, dude, gold is $3,400 an ounce. I'm still buying it. I don't care if it's $5,000 an ounce. I'm buying it. I buy silver when it's 30. I buy it when it's 35. I don't do the DCA. I don't do that crap.
In smaller denominations, maybe, but yes.
Yep. I'm always buying. I don't worry about, I bought it and it went up. Nope. What's up, Cranky? I don't do that shit, man.
A friend of mine he's a really savvy investor. He's a pit boss at a casino in Tennessee. He buys a lot of gold and silver. He's got a YouTube channel. I'm going to share it in the comments when I look at it.
Totally, dude. Do that.
He has a theory. It's a working theory that the powers who should not be are intentionally driving up the prices of gold and silver so that the average person can't afford it, which he thinks could crash the gold and silver market, so that then everyone dumps all their gold and silver onto the market because it crashed the market. And then the powers who should not be, who manufactured this crisis, will buy it all up for pennies on the dollar. That's his theory.
I'm tempted to make fun of him, and I'm going to share something with you.
Okay.
And it's going to piss a lot of people off in the chat, but I truly believe this. So I believe Trump has done the same thing with tariffs to drive stock asset prices down, so that him and his cronies can buy it cheap, and then he'll back off the tariffs and ride the upswing. And because I see that pattern, I've been buying certain stocks that are undervalued now as a result to do the same thing. I believe government does that. I fully believe that.
You could be right.
And I'm also buying credit default swap ETFs. I'm not going to say which ones because I think dude, $11 trillion have been lost in the stock market since January of 17th. Did you know that? We're talking retirements. We're talking mortgages. Yeah. And I think it was all a ruse to drive asset prices down to buy them cheap. I mean, he's a businessman, dude. He's also a politician, but he's also a businessman. So I really believe that. And I think if you're not seeing that, and if you're not seeing that with gold and silver, you're going to miss out on both ends of the spectrum. And this is not me dumping on Trump. I'm just saying I think that's part of what he did.
Okay. You could be right. I've noticed that in numerous speeches, Donald Trump has brought up William McKinley. A lot of people haven't really done a lot of research on McKinley. Remember, he was one of the presidents who was shot and killed. He was assassinated. He eliminated the taxes on wages or income, and he instituted tariffs on imports. And this country experienced an absolute flourishing of prosperity. The country brought in so much money that when McKinley was shot and Teddy Roosevelt took over, Teddy Roosevelt had to form a task force to try and figure out how to spend all this money. And that's when all the national parks were bought and all the monuments went up around the nation. And all the like a huge industry of architecture flourished at that time. I'm not saying whether I really don't know if that's the case with Trump, but it is interesting that he's brought McKinley up a number of times regarding the tariffs.
Well, I did a two-part Rumble video on it. In fact, I think those are the last two I did on what I think is going on and how the tariffs are most likely going to hurt us, but how they could benefit us.
Okay, I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I think it's the last two. It's called like Tariffs Part 1 and Part 2.
Okay,
and I do think I'm a conservative. I believe in fair trade across the board.
Mhm.
But see, here's what people don't understand about America. We pay higher wages, so we are kind of a less desirable trade partner to buy from in the first place because our shit's more expensive. We don't want to buy our own shit because it's expensive. We want to buy Chinese shit. I mean, that's just the way it is. So if he gets tariffs down to zero between all countries, which is the way it should be, that's a good thing. However, it's only going to benefit us as a buyer to get our because when we put a tariff on China, that means the company that buys the product coming from China is charged more in America and passes it on to you and me as the consumer. So if we get everything down to zero across the board, that means we can buy stuff cheaper, but it doesn't benefit us as a manufacturing country because no one wants to buy our crap because it's so expensive. Okay. So there's a way this trade war could really work, but it's a matter of if and how much pain is caused in the interim. And people, I think a lot of people don't understand fully how tariffs work. So I'm not saying it can't work, but what I am saying is it's not going to make us a manufacturing nation again because we're too expensive and we pay Americans too much. No one wants to pay that. But it can work as far as us buying stuff cheaper from other countries if they drop all tariffs on us and we drop all tariffs on them. So it can work. But there's been a lot of pain in the process.
And it's all going to be backed by our military, by force, by the might of our armed forces, you know?
Oh, totally.
Joseph Lopez said he loves the sound of you clanking metal.
I was playing with my silver, not myself. You were in the military. They actually wouldn't take me. When I was 18, I tried to enlist. I said the wrong thing. I shouldn't say it here, but they said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Infantry. I want to off people from my country." I was 18, man. Okay. But would you agree, as someone who has more knowledge than me, that everything's backed by our military, but given the actions of the previous administration, our military is weakened through less service members and more DEI woke service members that are in there currently? Because that's how I see it. What scares me.
If you take a look at our recent history, especially since the 1980s, the New World Order boys have been divesting out of the West and investing into the third world. And if you read Karl Marx for what it is, he talked about creating a level playing field. They don't want any one nation to be able to oppose their agenda. And that may be diving into some conspiracy stuff your audience doesn't agree with, but I've been down the rabbit hole with this stuff for so long. I think that's what they're doing. Our industry,
it kind of makes sense, dude. Honestly, I mean,
our industry overseas. You know,
I don't think everything's a conspiracy, but I think a lot of things are.
Oh, I don't think everything is. What you and I are doing right now is conspiring. Two or more people talking together.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know? But you know what I meant when I said that, though. But yeah,
I do. I don't believe everything's a conspiracy theory, but I do believe that the conspiratorial nature of history has more truth and more evidence than the conventional view, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. 100%. 100%.
Can I read, I'm going to read Black's Law's dictionary definition of note, because the Federal Reserve says we have a note on a Federal Reserve note.
Let it rip.
A note is defined as a written statement by an individual to pay a sum of money to another individual or the bearer of the note at a specific time and period. So what are these Federal Reserve notes in our wallet? And what are those nickel-plated copper coins that look like silver but are not? what sum of lawful money do they represent? If a note is an actual note to pay the bearer on demand lawful money. They're lying to us.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
been lying to us for so long.
And you know what's scary, though? They're open about it. You go on the Federal Reserve website, they'll tell you, hey, look, we're a private bank. We're not federal government. We're run by the Fed. I mean, we're told what to do. We're influenced. But they don't even lie about it. And there's a huge lie, but they don't lie about the lie.
And the Federal Reserve
and the common person just falls for it. And that, my friend, is why I believe the dollar will never fully collapse, because it is based on ignorance and stupidity. And we have an abundance of that. And as long as people have faith, which they always will because they're stupid, it will never, it will inflate, and it will become worth less. But I don't think it will ever implode. Not in my lifetime, because people aren't that smart. But I can profit on that, and so can you, and so can every one of you, by buying stocks, real estate, gold, and silver. But I don't think we're going to have a dollar collapse, because what's up, Brendan? People aren't that smart.
I think they would segue into a new monetary system. I don't think it's going to collapse entirely. They can't afford to allow that to happen, because people would revolt. There'd be violence in the streets.
Just like all the people talk about bank failures. A bank may fail, but the government can't afford not to make the depositors whole through printing or FDIC, or both if FDIC falls short. So as a depositor, you're not going to get left holding the bag if the bank fails, because the government can't afford that to happen on their watch. And we have infinite, quote unquote, money, because we can print it. So bank failures videos mean nothing to me, because they always imply you're going to be screwed if you have money in the bank. No, you're not. You're going to have a new bank with the same amount of money. That's what's going to happen.
I think what they're afraid of is having a crisis they can't control. You know, a crisis always creates a change, but a controlled crisis always creates the desired change for the manufacturer of the crisis.
Gold shipping, correct. Banks are going to fail because FDIC can't cover the money. But here's the thing. When that happens, the government will turn on the presses. They will print the money to put the money into the FDIC's accounts to bail out the banks, so that the people don't freak out and panic. That's what's going to happen. You watch.
Last time
2008.
Last time I went into my credit union, and they have the backed by the FDIC, that brass, it's like a brass sign in front of you at every teller station. It says, backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. And I laughed.
Isn't that laughable?
Yeah, I laughed out loud, and people got really nervous. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
Like
Capital One says that when I log in now. And you're right, gold shipping, it means your money is worth less.
Yeah.
Not worth less, because here's the thing. If y'all think about it, right? And I defend Trump on this 100% in 2020, right? With the whole vid thing. The average American is stupid and doesn't save any money, okay? So state governments got involved, shut businesses down. He couldn't control that. So he was faced with the decision, well, the average American doesn't have $1,000. Their state is shutting down. I can't control that immediately. I have to print money to give them, to keep them from failing, and businesses. I probably would have done the same thing, even though I'm fundamentally against that, because state governments got involved and people don't save enough money. But if you think about all the money we printed during that period, and all the money we've given to Ukraine, and all this foreign aid, the rate of inflation is not nearly as high. It's high, but not nearly as high as it should be with all that printing. Isn't that nuts to think about?
Yeah.
It's because of the faith in the system.
Yep. And that experience in my credit union reminds me of the movie They Live. Remember, he put on the glasses and then he could see reality for what it
was. Not Roddy James Dio. It was a Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah, dude. He's a Portland boy, by the way.
And then he could see all these lizard people for what they were. And then the lady was like, I've got one that can see. And her evil came out. That's what it was. All these people got nervous because I was laughing at this FDIC sign out in public.
But see, it's all face-based, dude.
It is.
But see, the thing is, there's Tim's YouTube link, by the way, for all you new people. Please go sub him up, and don't just sub him, watch him, because subs don't help if you don't watch.
Honestly, I don't really promote YouTube that much. I generally only promote Rumble because YouTube censored my video on the protocols of Zion. They really don't like that stuff.
And I get it. I started a Rumble when YouTube put me in jail, but it's fundamental. See, this is a revolution. So it's fundamental because Google has a bigger following. It's fundamental for us to promote things on YouTube so that we can get people on board to move over to free speech platforms like Rumble and Twitch and Patreon. So
it's a worthy goal.
Don't sleep on helping Google by promoting your stuff on it, because we can move people over if we get a big enough awareness out, I think. Because Google has the biggest reach.
That's true. I did challenge YouTube's decision on that, and they did reinstate the video though later.
That's good.
That's something.
That's good.
Usually they punish me for challenging them.
You want to know why I got put in YouTube jail the last time? My buddy Zuki Play, he did a video, and it was a stacking video, and in the background his phone rang. So I said, "Hey bro, nice edition, nice silver editions. Your phone is ringing." Because I used the word phone, Google thought I was a spammer in the comment section, and they actually removed my comment and locked me up for 24 hours. At that point, I started a Rumble.
Not surprised, but yeah.
That was AI. It was AI, obviously, that made that decision, but that pushed me to the brink. And then Silver and Cigars got put in jail over something stupid, posting a cigar link, but he never nutted up and went to Rumble, even though he was mad about it like he should have. So Cigars, get your ass on Rumble. It don't work unless we all make it work.
The thing about Rumble is all the ads. It's like, just inundated with ads, ad after ad after ad. Yeah. But if you can get past that,
Well, Google does that too, though. That's how they all make.
I'm on the USNationalDebtClock.org website, and the so-called national debt is $36.7 trillion. It describes the U.S. national debt as the national public debt outstanding, which represents the face amount or principal amount of marketable and non-marketable securities currently outstanding. It's very interesting. Revealing.
No big deal, bro. Just be like the Federal Reserve. Write a check with no money. It's fine. We'll cover it.
So yes, are you aware that the USDebtClock.org eliminated its income tax revenue section? It's shaded out.
Yes, and it also now includes Doge payments owed to every American taxpayer, supposedly, which I don't think we're going to see. But
it's over 3,000.
I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think we'll see it.
I keep saying I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly. I don't believe we're going to see income tax go away. I think we might see tips go, tax on tips go away, which...
Oh, that'd be sweet for me.
I don't fucking claim them anyway. Yeah. I don't claim them anyway. I'm crooked, but I do have to claim my YouTube or my YouTube revenue. I have to claim my Grubhub, my DoorDash, stuff like that, but whatever.
They also eliminated their corporate tax revenue section on US Debt Clock.
I'm kidding. I claim all my tips because I would never be crooked, guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the line I drew in the sand 4 years ago. Come what may.
I will also comply with all gun control moving forward because I'm a good, obedient puppet.
I will comply with all lawful measures regarding my firearms.
So that means I won't comply because nothing's lawful if it's a restriction. Love it. I win.
Yeah. Your audience is really awesome, by the way.
Oh, dude, they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal,
I feel like I'm in good company here.
I'm going to be honest with you, Tim. I'm going to use the word friends. I've actually met 4 YouTube guys in person. One I don't talk to anymore, but he was okay. He just kind of went nutty.
Was that like a speed dating type thing?
No, I went down to I went down to California, which I'm fundamentally against.
Oh yeah.
I had to buy a locking safe for my gun once I crossed the border because, despite the fact that I have creds in from 3 different states, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, and I'm good in like 40 states, California ain't one of them. Weird. But I met about 4 guys. I met Savage Stacker. I met Stackers University. I met Neil Hans Dynasty, who I don't talk to anymore because he's kind of a nut job now. But he was fine at the time. And I met Morgan's Treasure in Medford, Oregon. And aside from those 4 guys, I've also met who I'm going to call a lot of friends. I mean, I talk to OTG / AG in the chat almost daily on Instagram. Silver and Cigars, he's my boy. West Texas Stacker, he's my boy. Cranky's a good dude. I mean, I have met a lot of Just Stack It, who's kind of not that active anymore, but he's still got a channel. I have met some phenomenal people, dude.
That's cool.
And some of these assholes are on the bucket list, man. So,
do you ever watch Salivate Metals channel?
I will tell you the story that I told last night in the live stream with Texas. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sal and I are actually friends.
Wow.
We email. The very first. Let's explore. He loves my invitation. Though. He goes, dude, that's pretty. So, I'll tell you a story about Sal, dude. This is no BS. My first video he ever commented on.
100,000 subscribers now,
dude.
Nice.
I started my channel October 1st, I think 3 years ago or whatever. I think it'll be 4 years. I don't even know. And the first video I did, I had like 100 subs. Not the first video, but I had like 100 subs. Mm-hmm. And I get this comment, and it was a video talking about silver ETFs versus physical.
Yeah.
And I get this comment from Salivate Metal. I'm like, yeah, bullshit. That's spam. I clicked the link, and it's Sal. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This guy with like 70,000 subs at the time is watching me? No way. So I've actually done lives on my channel with Sal, by the way. So awesome. I have videos on my channel with Sal. I think he's been on twice. And I said, you got to be kidding me. Well, okay, let me ask you this real quick. Were you a little bit nervous doing a live today with me for your first time?
A little bit. I mean,
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm
having fun.
Dude, I'm a tiny channel. I got 2,800 some odd subs, okay?
I have almost nothing. I'm just getting started, but yeah.
Well, I had done 0 subs or 0 lives. Mm-hmm. Do you know the first live I ever engaged in?
No.
It was Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, one of the two, like two or 3 years ago on Salivate Metals channel. He did an open panel, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'd never done a live before of any kind. I'm going to do this, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I started sweating. I had sweaty palms. I was nervous, and I bitched out. I pulled the plug. And then I said, nope, you're going to man up. You're going to do this. And I went back in, and I was backstage, and he brought me in the StreamYard at about 45 minutes into the video, and I didn't panic. I didn't sound stupid, any more stupid than normal. And after I did that, I was like, I can do anything now. But that was the first live stream experience I ever had was on Sal's channel. No,
I don't even
joke,
like
dude.
the sound of my voice. I don't know. When I hear my voice, I'm like, or it's always like, oh, I should have said this at that time.
That is exactly how it is for all of us, dude. Trust me.
Because I want to create really good content, and
Cranky. I think it might be 3 years. I think it might be 4 years. Come this October, it's 3 or 4. But yeah, dude. Dude, I was so friggin' nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
But no, I love Sal. He's very humble. He's not like, I'm a big channel, I don't have time for you. He's not like that at all. He's a very genuine guy. In fact, I should do a live with him again, either on his channel or mine. I don't care. It's been too long.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing bad to say about Sal. Nothing.
I like his stuff. He's funny, and he's real fun to listen to. His delivery makes me laugh.
Oh, he's great, dude. He's great. And in fact, it's funny. He made me a moderator on his channel in the chat, and then one day the wrench went away because I thought I pissed him off, and I was like, and I sat on it for a couple months, and I emailed him like, Sal, sorry, whatever I did that made you mad. He's like, what do you mean? I go, well, you took my wrench away. He's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, well, it's gone. He's like, let me fix that right now. So, I mean, he's just a humble, down-to-earth, normal dude. And
that's cool.
I'm telling you, man, Sal's not one of those people that's like, oh, you don't make content, you're not cool like me. Or, oh, you don't have a monetized channel with 1,000 subs. He's not like that. He is such a down-to-earth, humble guy. And that's why we call him Uncle Sal, because we love him.
I like him even better.
Oh, dude, he's a solid guy, man.
That.
Solid guy.
So I want to see if there's a way that you can hear something. I want to play for your audience. This audience, our audience.
Our audience. Hey, yeah, boy.
CS, were you aware that the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick recently announced the external service for tariffs on imports, and they said they're dissolving the IRS?
Not per se. I've heard those things said, but not necessarily who announced it. But yes and no.
Okay.
I guess to a degree.
Let me see if I can play this.
Not enough to have an opinion on that particular statement, though. I guess I would say.
Let me know if you can hear this. Of course, it's an ad. Are you able to hear that?
I don't hear it. Do you guys hear it?
Oh wow. Okay, so it must
sometimes.
not.
So you have to play it from your. Are you on your phone or your computer right now?
Laptop.
Okay, so play it from your phone because I figured that out too. If you're on a computer trying to play
I have
something,
a headset on.
Yeah, but you got a microphone. So if you play it from a different device to your microphone, it should work. It's weird that way. I figured that out once myself.
Man, I really want you guys to hear this. The caption is former IRS head Steve Miller admits income taxes are voluntary. You may or may not have seen this because we were on that subject earlier. Let me see what I can do here.
We were indeed. Oh, I said we were indeed.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to work. Oh, well, we're all human. We're not robots. We make mistakes. That's what I remind my viewers when I mess up. I'm not a robot. I'm not AI, you know.
Thank God.
I'm a real boy.
Pinocchio. Oh, God, that's funny. Well, I got so much to do, man. On my one day off, we've been going 100 minutes exactly.
Okay.
Do you got anything you want to add, brother? Besides the fact that please drop your links again in the chat so that people can find you. Also, if you want to find them in the description of this video,
okay. Yeah.
Which also says I'm not a financial advisor. And neither is Tim. You can find his Rumble and you can find his YouTube. They're both in the video. So please go support him. Don't just sub and never go back. That doesn't help nobody. So other than that, all I got. Do you have anything else?
No, this was really fun. We should do it again soon.
We will.
Yeah.
And next time we'll do it on your channel.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'll figure it out on my end.
Don't go away, after I end the chat, because I want to say a couple things to you in the studio. But so don't go away if you have a minute.
Don't go away, Matt. Just go away.
Just go away, Motley.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for showing up. Appreciate you. Love you. Show Tim some love. Don't be a simp. Hit the like, and keep stacking.
Yeah, I appreciate all your friends and their time.
They're great people, man.
And exposing this and the great awakening, as I like to call it. People are
Love
waking up.
Slowly, but yes.
Talk to you soon.